Hey guys, it's Avery and I'm back. Lord willing, back to stay. There we go. It feels so good to be making a video again today and in general, and I'm just very glad to be doing this. It's been a little while. It's been about 2 or 3 months since I posted a video. My last couple of videos were all like super, this is about to get real and big and huge, and then I fell off the face of the earth. So, number one, I want to apologize for that. But this video today will explain everything. I know I made a couple videos where I mentioned something small that was going on of why I haven't been posting, but this is like the big shabam. And we'll explain some stuff that was not yet public information when I made those other videos. It's like 9 o'clock, so I have a decaf coffee on this cute little mug that says shine your light. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Okay guys, so I've got my little outline here thing on my computer that I usually do. This one's shorter than usual though, but I've got a lot to explain. So let's just get into it. I don't want to make this too long for you guys. I know these super long update videos can get boring, so let's go. So the past few months have been a complete roller coaster with Jesus. I have hit some of my lowest points I've ever felt as a believer, and I've hit some of my highest points. That's rough. So I've been learning lots of stuff. I've been learning trust, faith, patience, perseverance, the peace of God, abiding in Him. So much I've learned through this. And I think I've mentioned this slightly before in the past, but this past year and the end of last year, me and my family moved churches, and that was what grew my faith so much. And I would do it 100 times over because it was so hard, but the outcome has been phenomenal. And without doing that, what I'm about to share with you may not have happened. This YouTube channel would not have happened without that. So I say I would do that 100 times over, but I don't know that I would do this 100 times over. It was rough. It was a different kind of rough than moving churches, but you get the... As many of you may know, I did dance at a Christian dance studio that met at a church near me, and it was, I almost want to say my everything, but wasn't my everything, but it was a lot of my life. I had 4 hours of classes 3 nights a week. Some of my very closest friends were there. Dance was my home away from home and my second family. But guess what? Sometimes God has to take, I said I wasn't gonna cry. I already feel like I might cry. And we're 2 minutes in. Sometimes God has to take some of the things that you love most to show you what's most important in life. And dance was that thing for me. I spent so much time at dance, and I love dance so much, but God said, hey Avery, it's time to move on, and I have greater things in store for you. And I still haven't even, I can't say I've seen those greater things, but I have faith that they're coming. Hey folks, Avery from the editing cam, and I just wanted to say I'm sorry this video is kind of long and slow. It's because this video is very hard to make for me, to be quite honest. It's just a big thing that happened, and in the first 5 minutes of the video I almost started crying, but I made it through, and I think it's gonna I hope it's a video that will encourage you and everything. But I just wanted to say I kind of talk kind of slow, and it's just because it was a lot to like put out there. So yeah, bear with me, please. And I hope this video encourages you, so you can keep watching now. And so God called me to quit dance to focus on ministry. I realized a lot of things over the past year and one of the biggest things that I tell people being life is short, and why wouldn't we live for Jesus with as much of it as we can? And with dance on my schedule, school on my schedule, family time, church, all that, I didn't have time to live for him as much as I want to. And it's still something, even without dance, that I have to prioritize, but I have more time now to do that. And some of the things that are taking up my time are things like ministry and things that I want to be doing to serve him. And it's amazing being able to serve him that much. So I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit of the story. It's like my testimony kind of, with this situation of how it all went. And I am praying that this will encourage you, to just see how great God is, and like that you can trust him no matter what, and that my story will just be an example for you of what God can do, and that it just encourages you. So let's get comfy with my coffee. The confirming moment so I kind of been tossing around this idea in my head, like maybe I'll quit dance, maybe I won't, I love it, no, I would never do that, this is my family, I love dancing, I dance at a Christian studio, like all these things. Well, I had been praying about dance still and about possibly quitting for a while. And I told my small group leader to like pray about it for me as well. And so then she texted me one time and she said, "What kept you at dance?" And I gave her a short explanation on the way to school that morning of what had kept me at dance. And so then that Wednesday night, I met with her to talk, and she showed me a Bible verse. I think it was in Daniel. It was about King Nebuchadnezzar, and the verse was basically full of I's and me's that King Nebuchadnezzar had said. And then she showed me the text message that I had sent her. She screenshotted it and cropped it so there was just that text message. And it was a very similar format to what King Nebuchadnezzar had said about his greatness and where he was and why he was doing that. Well, she said, "I'm not comparing you to King Nebuchadnezzar because your situation is not that extent. You're not the king. But just something to give you something to think about by looking at it like this." And then she always has these great little like poems or stories. And so she read me this story about, I will never forget this story. I'm not going to read it all to you. I might put it in the description of this video so that y'all can read it yourself, because it was clearly life-changing for me. It was part of the formula that changed my life, but it was definitely a huge factor. So the story was about a little girl who saw a pearl necklace at the store with her mom. And she wanted these pearls, so she saved up to buy them, and she bought them, and they became her pride and joy. She wore them all the time. She wore them to bed. She wore them in the bath. Like, they were her favorite thing ever. And every night, her dad would come and pray with her and tell her good night. And then on one particular night, when he was doing that, he said, I don't remember what the little girl's name was. I don't even know if she had a name, but we'll call her Lily. He said, "Lily, may I please have your pearls?" And the girl said, "No, Daddy, these are my pearls." And so that happened a couple of times that he asked and she wouldn't give them to him. Then one night, the dad came into her room and Lily had tears in her eyes. And her dad said, "What's the matter, honey?" And she held out her hand and it had her pearl necklace in it. And the dad began to tear up and then took them from her. And then he explained he was doing it because he loved her. He took them and he put them in his pocket, and he pulled out of his other pocket an even better strand of pearls. And so what this story was, the theme of this story, I love literature, so like stories are a great way to do it for me. The theme of this story was sometimes we have to give to our Heavenly Father things that we love most in order to, and He'll give us something better in return to our obedience. And so like I talked over this with my teacher, and I was like, she said, "I'm praying for you in this decision about quitting dance, and I have a feeling I know what you're gonna do, but it's up to you. Keep praying about it." And by the end of that little chat, I think I had my decision made. I walked out, went into service that Wednesday night, and during worship, I lost it. I don't think I've ever cried that much in a worship service. But this song like just went perfectly with my situation. I completely lost it. I was like sobbing so much I had to leave and go to the bathroom and clean up. And so then one of my friends came in there to the bathroom, and I told them, I said, "I think I have to quit dance. I think God's calling me to quit dance." And it was one of my friends that dances with me that also goes to my school. And so she's like, okay, calm down. Like, it's okay. And so I took my deep breath. I went back into service. Then on the way home, I started crying again. And then my mom was like, "What's the matter?" So then I had to talk to my parents about it that night. And they said that they were proud of me, but I would have to make my own decision, that they understand and they support me either way. But I had to make up my mind on my own. Like, they weren't gonna tell me what to do in this situation. And so that was kind of my confirming moment when I would say I knew, like, God was calling me to quit dance. The next 2 or 3 months, I'll give you just a quick overview of, I was kind of back and forth a couple of times. I had a hard time with it. I kept praying about it. I hadn't told anyone. I think I told 2 people at dance. One person that she's my big sister. I'm the oldest in my family biologically, but she's my big sister, and I met her through dance, and she goes to my school. And she's been a huge blessing to me. And then one other friend that I had told that night went after the pearl story. It was emotional and it was rough, and lots of, I'd say like, Satan was definitely trying to change my mind. And okay, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself here. This is so crooked and it's bothering me. Then my mom went to a like prayer night or something one night while I was at dance at our church, and she said that they prayed about 3 words, and these 3 words got me through the next couple of months. It was fear, perseverance, and peace. The fear I used to like symbolize, or was the word for me being fearful of the future and what was to come with my decision of quitting dance and what people would say and all those things. You can imagine all that. The perseverance was pushing through till the show. We had a show in mid-November, and I decided I didn't want to just like take one class and then be like, "All right guys, I'm gone, bye." I wanted to have one final show with my dance family, and then that would be it. So I had to push through and persevere, even though I knew like the end was coming. So it was hard to like step into dance every night for those 3 nights a week and be there for 4 hours knowing it's almost the end and stuff. So I had to persevere with that. And then the third word, that's 4. The third word was peace, because God gave me a peace about this decision, even though it was the hardest decision I've probably ever made in my life. but God gave me a peace about it, and the peace that would come after. So I experienced the fear factor, I experienced the perseverance factor, and then God would give me peace in the ministry that I was doing. And let me tell you, little side note, I've been done with dance for a month now. Ministry and trying to focus on your spiritual life more is not hard, or is very hard. It is very hard. It's not easy. That's what I was trying to say. It is a very hectic, busy, emotional, spiritually rough season in my life, but I persevered through the goodness of God. Then I had my last show mid-November. Before that is I had to talk to the directors and the owners of my dance company, and I had to tell them that I was leaving. And so me and my mom went in there and did that, and that was hard. I cried, but they supported me, and I'm so thankful for the impact that they've had on my life, and that they supported me in this decision to follow God. And I just want to note real quick that even though this was hard, there was a strange excitement about it. Quitting dance was really hard, but at the same time, I was excited. And so sometimes when I was telling my friends, after I talked to the directors, and I started telling certain friends and stuff that I would be leaving, it was a bittersweet, because it was sad that I was leaving them, but there was so much excitement of what God's gonna do when I gave that up, if that makes sense. So just a little side nugget there of a reminder of in the valley, there is a mountaintop, and it's gonna be pretty amazing, and look forward to it, because God has it in store for you, and he is gonna bring you to that. If you continue to trust and obey and lean on him. One of my favorite verses is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Just in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. So that kind of goes with this. And I'm actually going to make a whole video on that verse, because that verse has helped me through many, many, many times of my life. And that's why it's one of my favorites. Well, so after my dance show, I thought I would I can't talk. I would jump straight into ministry. Life would be dandy. I'd be living for Jesus. Life would be a cakewalk. Wrong. So after dance, I had 1 week, and then I had Thanksgiving week. And that 1 week, I was all right, I'll just get used to life without dance in the schedule. And then, you guys like my sweatshirt, by the way? It says coffee weather. Total side tangent. And then Thanksgiving, we went out of town as a family. I was all right, I'll get started Thanksgiving week on YouTube. And then I had all these complete doubts and fears, and what if YouTube isn't what I need to be doing? What if God's calling me somewhere else? So basically doubting. And it was rough. So I did not end up picking back up on YouTube that week. And my mom and my small group leader both told me this. That helped so much. They reminded me, they said, these were their exact words. Both of them said this to me. They said, be still. Just be still. Be in the moment. And so there's a Bible verse to go with that. It's Psalms 46:10. I haven't memorized. I was going to read it, but I haven't memorized. Be still and know that I'm God, for I will be exalted. Hold up. Now I'm worried I'm going to say it wrong. And I don't want to do that to you guys. Anytime I quote Bible verses, feel free to check me on them and put in the comments if I said it wrong or anything. Because I don't want to do that. He says, be still and know that I'm God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. And that's Psalms 46:10 through 11. So that verse became my motto. And something else that my small group leader reminded me was, after Jesus was baptized, he spent 40 days in the wilderness before he began his ministry. And Jesus is our ultimate example, right? So that's what I did. I followed after the example of Jesus, and I spent time in my wilderness. And clearly I was not in the woods like chilling. I was in the wilderness spiritually and spending time with the Lord and getting alone with him and just being still and knowing that he is God. And like that came with other hardships. But guys, life is the highs and lows. It's a spiritual roller coaster. Once you're a Christian, it ain't a cakewalk. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Life as a Christian is not a cakewalk. It is highs and lows that grow us and help us persevere. James 1, go read it. It's so good. James 1 through, oh gosh, now I gotta find this too. James 1:2 is also one of my favorite verses right now. James. I can't find James. Where are you, James? Ephesians. Here it is. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials, which are the low points of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be matured and complete, not lacking anything. So James 1 really encouraged me as well through all of this. So go check that out. And in that wilderness, I experienced some things like beating myself up because we don't give God enough praise. And like that doesn't even make sense when you really think about it. It's kind of like there was at least a solid week where I stopped casting my burdens on God. And Jesus says in Matthew, he says, cast all your cares and anxieties on me, for I care for you. Oh, no, that's 1 Peter 5:7. But the Matthew one is the one that says, for my yoke is easy and my burden. I have a bookmark at this one, actually. It's Matthew 11. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart. You will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And so I kind of just like ignored that verse, and I didn't cast my burdens and cares and anxieties on God. I was like, God is so great. He just deserves praise. And so all I would let myself do is like praise him. And then I was taking all these things upon myself, and my burden and my yoke was too heavy. So then I had to cast those things back to God and thank him for how great he is for taking my burdens. That's a whole nother concept that we can talk about later. If you want to, leave in the comments or like this video if you want to talk about praising God while also giving him everything and not making him your slave. That's a whole nother thing. Let me know if you want me to talk about that. So then eventually, when I decided to start YouTube back up right before I made this video, the biggest things was I talked to my youth pastor one night, and he reminded me the same thing that my small group leader and that my mom and that everyone else had kind of already been telling me. I guess I need to hear it from a new person. But he said, whatever you do, whether you eat, drink, sleep, it's 1 Corinthians 10:31, do everything to his glory, God's glory. And so he reminded me, let your passions, he said, when I was doubting if YouTube is where God would have me, and right now I believe that it is where he has me, but Lord willing, and I'm open to letting that change if that's where God guides me. He said, let your passions for Christ, coffee, and crafts collide with your service to the Lord. Let your love for God be your motivation behind whatever you do for him, and to focus on that and not overthinking where God wants me. Just live for him, love him, and he will continue to guide you. And so that was another thing. I overthought a lot of things with God, and I'm still working on that because I'm an overthinker with everything. And so like, that was a whole nother side tangent. Pray for me, please, in that area. But I'm an overthinker. And so I know this video was kind of all over the place, and there's a lot more in depth that I could have gone on all this stuff, but I wanted to update you guys, tell you that I am coming back to YouTube, Lord willing, and now I am done with dance, so I'll have more time to focus on ministry and my YouTube. And one other ministry that I'm working on is where I believe God has me right now. And so I cannot wait to see where he continues to guide and lead. But I wanted to share a couple of things that encouraged me through this time. Number one is the whole Bible, folks. I needed a lot of Bible and a lot of worship music during this time. Like, I don't think I would have made it through without the amount of times I read my Bible and listened to worship music. 2 songs in particular are Spirit Lead Me by Influence Music. That one really helps with the dance part of the situation. And then Defender by Jesus Culture really helped with the wilderness part of this. And then, like I mentioned before, Psalms 46, 10 through 11. The whole Bible is really, like, I can't pinpoint just a few verses that helped. There were lots. And then one more verse. So the other day during my Bible study time, I read Psalms 40. I actually, saw something on Pinterest and it said Psalms 40. And I was like, ooh, I'll go read Psalms 40 just for fun. Well, just reading Psalms 40 just for fun turned into both pages of it in my Bible covered with journaling and notes, as well as 2 whole pages in my notebook. But there was a verse in Psalms 40 that really stood out to me and was like God saying, all right, get back into this. Let your passions collide with your love for me and go serve me. And it is Psalms 40, 9 through 10. I proclaim your saving acts in the great assembly. I do not seal my lips, Lord. As you know, I do not hide your righteousness in my heart. I speak of your faithfulness and your saving help. I do not conceal your love and your faithfulness from the great assembly. So what that really meant to me was, proclaim to others how great and how faithful God is in his love and faithfulness and the help that he can be. And YouTube is my way of doing that right now, guys. So, I ask that you would pray for me as I continue on this journey of following Jesus, and my YouTube channel and all of the above. Don't think there's anything else I want to mention. But yeah, I love you guys and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it was kind of all over the place. I hope you have a fantastic week. Merry Christmas. I'll be making a Christmas video very soon. Lord willing, I think. I don't really have a huge idea for it yet, but I think I want to make one. Just to say Merry Christmas. So, Merry Christmas, guys. I love you. Jesus loves you. And go be a light for Jesus. Bye, folks. And now I gotta go edit all that. I'm about to start editing the video. And I just want to say, I have so many video ideas, guys. I'm literally off the walls excited. So I am probably going to be doing a video dump over Christmas break and just get a whole lot of videos out. Some that I've already made, but wanted to post this one first, and some that I'm just excited to get out there and I have time to do it because I have extra time to do it because it's Christmas break. So anyways, bye.